Welcome back, fellow shop rats. Today we are back on scoops. We've had brake issues on this car for a long time, and I have worked on them off camera a little bit, adjusting them, but the pedal is still really bad in this car, even though the rear brakes are adjusted up all the way. Today we're going to try to take care of that. We got some stuff to do. Don't go away. I'm Mike, and you're watching My Car Shop. Try not to look around the shop too much. It is an absolute disaster out here. I've not cleaned it since before Ray and Chris were here a month ago. I've just been flogging a lot of it off camera. I haven't even filmed any episodes for almost 3 weeks because I've just been so busy. But that's the reason we have a number of episodes in the queue to be ahead of the game. But I'm driving this car right now as my daily. My Hemi Trek is down. Wanda is pretty reliable, although it did quit on me the other day. But she gets horrible gas mileage, and I don't have anything else to drive. I brought my Cadillac up to start working on that, but it's got a few more issues that I need to resolve before I can get that on the road. Just both Mini Coopers are down right now. Becky's Mini Cooper has problems. I hate seasons of life like this. We all go through it, and it doesn't matter how many cars you have, 1 or 27. It seems like they're all broke down at once. So anyway, let's get into this. We need to do some work on the rear brakes here. I think we need to do some brake bleeding. I think that's the issue because when you pump it, the pedal comes up. So I think there's a big fart of air somewhere in the back brakes. It may also be in the right front because it does dive to the left even though I have adjusted those brakes. So we're going to get into it today and see what we got. This may not be the only project in this episode. I'm not sure. It's going to depend on how much I can accomplish, but let's get after it. I've got both rear brake bleeders open now, and this one hasn't started bleeding yet, but the one over there is definitely dripping. So hopefully they'll gravity bleed. If not, I've got an idea for a pressure cap that we can put on these old style master cylinders, and we'll get that machined up and done. But we broke a wheel stud when I was adjusting the brakes a few weeks ago, so I ended up having one in the back room and another rear end. So we need to install that, maybe, if we're smart enough to know how, which I doubt that I am at this point. Come on, you little pot licker. You're not too long. Just got to find the right position here. There we go. Got to get them in just the right spot to have enough depth to snake it in there. Oh, you little bugger. Oh, where are you? Yeah. I know it's the right one. I don't want to have to pop the axle out. I've never had to in the past on these. There we go. Should be able to get it now. It's just being, it's a Verschlugener thing is what I'm saying. There we go. Whew! All right, and we're just going to use a nut on backwards to pull it in. Maybe. Yeah! Well. I think the stud is a little rusty. I should have cleaned it first. Guess we'll take it back out, clean it, and then we'll do it. So we get the fun of snaking it in and out of there twice. Come on now, yeah, get on now, yeah. Okay, you got to put some big washers on there because the shoulder does come through the axle, so we'll get those on there, make sure these are big enough. Yes, they are. 3 should be enough. Get our nut started. Once it starts to pull, it'll press itself in nicely. Just check it on the back side with my fingernail. It's still out just a little teeny bit. I'm using the lug nut backwards so that the flat is against the washers. There we go. I could tell it started to get hard. Yep, we're tight. Okay. Easy peasy, cheesy squeezy. That's done. We're not getting any brake fluid out of this one, which tells me that probably this side is the one that is, oh yeah, we got a huge puddle over there. So let's go close that bleeder. I think we're okay over there. We were making progress, and I really slammed down on the pedal and blew a line right here where this old clip used to be. So I'm going to make this short piece and join it in. Always something, you know. No biggie. Leave myself a bunch of extra there. It's the nature of the beast. Fun and games, you know. Brakes are, yeah, they're brakes. I do love this kink line, though, I'll tell you that. Okay, let's see if we're even close to a reasonable facsimile. We're too far that way, which puts us into the shock. We can compensate for that down here. There's probably where we need to be. Yep, there we go. Don't like using a sharp edge like this because it does tend to kink the line, so I try to be careful. Even though it's can't kink line, it can kink. That's close. And let's see, we come out like so, like so. A little bit short, but I think we can make up for that here. Let's go see if that's going to be close on the vehicle. Yeah, it's more than enough. I left myself plenty extra in here. I need to cut a little bit of that off, and we can re-massage that. But I've got a large amount of overlap, plus we can adjust our length this way, so we should be okay. This is the last piece of brake line I have, so I shouldn't have left myself quite as much in here. But I did. Maybe I can compensate back a little bit. There we go. That should help. I was trying to leave myself plenty for flaring and didn't think about what I was doing to myself in other ways. And it ain't got to be perfect. It ain't a show car. That gets us in the ballpark. I don't know what ballpark we're going to, but close enough. Okay, let's see how that works. Pretty close. Kind of lather, rinse, and repeat on this. You've seen me make a million brake lines over the years, but doing a double flare for safety. I forgot the nut. I knew it. I knew it. I almost did it. Almost did it, boss. Whew, boy. Okay, I'm using the old nut. I like the original nuts better because they're longer and they got more thread engagement. So, got to find my screwdriver that I'm using. I'm glad this happened here in the shop, not out on the road. Getting into an emergency situation, slam on the brakes and have that happen. That would have slurped. All right, I got to run a reamer through that thing. Hold on. All right, I reamed the nut now so it fits nice. I don't know if I've got enough engagement. I do not, so it's the downside of using the longer nut is I don't have as much engagement, so I got to take some bend out of this just to give me a little more engagement on that. There we go. That should do it. So that I can stick through further and get through my thing here. Still not quite enough. I need just a skosh. Just a Nova Scotia. Got enough now? Yep. It's always something. Double flare, of course, for safety and legalities. More safety. I don't really care about legalities. You can do what's legal and it not be safe. But if you do what's safe, legalities don't matter. Think about that for a while. So doing the right thing is what matters. And I lost my screwdriver. Our engagement is proper. Get our little first flare done, which is the squish flare, not the flare flare. None of this is a Ric Flair. Which I think, I just read that his son died. Tragic. I didn't read the details, but yeah, it's tragic. I think it was his son. Anyway, I don't know. Tragic. Regardless, doesn't matter. Okay, I can't say I've ever had that happen before. Okay, here we go. Okay, I just don't want that there to get in the way and cause issues. Thought I forgot the nut. I didn't. This old flare kit has, oh boy. I don't think I did that right. Never had that happen before. Oh. Did it upside down. That's why. Oh my God, I must be out of my head today. Yep, I did. I didn't do it into the flare. I did it into the flat. I don't think I've ever done that. I was starting to say how this old flaring kit has done me well all these years. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that just a beauty? Ay, caramba. All right, that's got to get cut off and redone. Yeah, it helps if you do it on the right side. My nut is still on there. That's the first time I think maybe I've ever done that. I was starting to say I have had this flaring kit for, that explains why this was in the way also. I've had this flaring kit since pretty much I was in high school. So that would be 40, over 40 years. I think I bought it probably right out of high school, so I was probably 17 when I got it. Be my guess. Well, you're being a little pot liquor today, aren't you? Get in there. Go on, get in there. There we go. It's done a lot of flares over the years. Here we go. Try again. You just get to see me do more. Because I have a real flair for these brake lines. Yeah, that makes sense why that was in the way now. All right. I should have caught that on the first flare. But I didn't. Okay, that looks good. Now let's see what we got. Viola. That looks like what we're supposed to look like. All right. Since I screwed up, I wanted to redeem myself. That one's good. Now we're going to go and lather, rinse, repeat on the other end, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, here's where we're at. Brakes are as solid as a solid thing. I think I know what was going on because I talked to Brad about this a few days ago, and he was saying he never could get the brakes to feel good. They always felt spongy to him. I've seen this happen before. I suspect that's what was happening. I'm really glad that I nailed that brake line or that brake pedal really hard and blew out that line that I showed you wherever it is over there. I suspect, I know he said he bled them and bled them and bled them and it couldn't ever seem to get the air out of them and the pedal was weird and it was ever since it's been here, which has been 4 or 5 years now probably. The brakes have been weird, and the longer I've driven it since I've owned it, it's gotten worse. So I adjusted the brakes the other day, went all the way around because brake pedal height is always connected to rear brake adjustment on a rear drum brake car. This has front drums also, which brings an interesting dynamic into it as well. But the more I thought about it, the way this thing sachets to the left, I realized that I'm guessing that the left rear brake and the right or the left front brake are both working pretty good. But the right front brake, I don't know about the right front brake. It was out of adjustment. I did get that better. But if the left rear brake wasn't, it could sashay to the left. It wasn't that it was ripping the wheel out of my hand necessarily. It was just, it would go to the left all the time. I know in a hard braking situation I had happen a few weeks ago, I had to nail the brakes hard and I didn't have time to pump them a little bit. And the left front brake locked up and I skidded that wheel only. So I knew there was issues. I definitely improved on that. I knew it wasn't safe to drive at that point. And I didn't realize how bad it was. Anyway, I got that all taken care of. But I think what happened was, I'm betting that where that old clamp strap was that bolted that brake line down to the axle, I believe it was. I didn't bolt down. It was attached to a welded on bend over strap. I suspect there was porosity in that line in there. Enough porosity that it could suck in some air, but not enough that it would bleed out brake fluid, at least not much. It's always lost a little teeny bit of brake fluid, but I could never see any wet spots. I bled and bled and bled this, which is why I finally went in there and just mashed on the pedal and blew that line. That line is replaced now. I went in after gravity bleeding it. I also used my little hand suction pump. I don't have one of those special little bleeder things, so I just use a long vacuum line, suck a bunch until I know it's almost going in my suction gun, then drain it out, lather, rinse, and repeat on that. Tighten down the bleeder, went in, hit the brake, boom. I mean, immediately hard as a rock right up at the top. So we're going to put this together and go for a drive and see what we got, but I'm pretty confident that we have just improved the brakes on this car about 60 to 70%. Alrighty, let's go for a drive, see what we got. It's definitely pulling a little bit to the left, which means I probably need to bleed that right front brake. But the pedal is right at the top now, so that's good. And there's a semi. It's a good thing we didn't pull out. We would have died. You would have witnessed my death. Making sure I got everything in my head right. Sorting down the wheels, brake drums on, of course. Everything's good. So we're going to go up here to where there's brand new pavement and give them a couple taps and see what we got. Everything takes longer than I expect. I need to do a cooling system flush on Wanda because the heater core's plugged up. And I want to get that. Yeah, it's not bad. It's just a little that way when you first tap on the brake. But you don't, yeah, it doesn't rip the wheel out of your hand. It makes me wonder if there's like a strut rod bushing that's maybe going bad up there. We'll have to look at that. Because the pedal is solid. I don't feel any sponginess in it at all. Let's get you turned around so you can enjoy the beautiful fall day. It's always nice to enjoy 2 scoops of hood scoops in your package of Mopar Raisin Bran. I don't know. 2 scoops is its official name. I'm just lazy and shortened it to scoops. But it was officially dubbed 2 Scoops by Brad many years ago. And all right, let's hit them. Yeah, it's good. It sashayed just a little, I mean minor amount to the left, but I let go of the steering wheel and it kept going straight after I pushed on it harder, and the pedal is solid as a rock. Oh, that's such a relief. Doggone Polaris brake lines, that'll do it. All right, I'm going to put a few miles on here, and I'll be back in a bit. You won't even know. Just sit back and enjoy the ride. Well, we just got back from our drive, and it's 90% better. It does, I won't say it pulls. It tends left a little bit when you first step on the brakes. Once you're kind of settled into it, and if you start getting more aggressive on the brakes, you can let go of the steering wheel, and it goes whatever direction it's pointed. It probably means that there might just be a little bit of air in that right front brake, or there's something in the front suspension that's causing that, like the alignment's not exactly right. I know alignment on front drum cars is for some reason really super critical, and I'm sure this thing needs an alignment, but I feel safer driving it now. It's, if I slam on the brakes, it's not going to rip the wheel out of my hand and go left. It's just a little teeny like this, and then it kind of almost corrects itself. So it makes me wonder if there's a little air in there. Wouldn't hurt to get the front end aligned on the car, but that's not in the cards anytime soon. Things are just pretty crazy right now. So yeah, a couple more things. Let's go in the shop. This place is a train wreck, and I'm not improving it any by today. I got this done. I've got computers in the house I have to get on for customers. I got supper I got to get going, and that's the way it goes lately. That's the way it's been. It's the first day I've really shared that with you. Working on stuff. It's just been thrash and run. I don't have the time to, to just go through and clean. So I'm going to do, hopefully in the next week or so, it's time to do another shop organization, shop cleaning episode. Anyway, I have more things to share. I think the last one we did was Taz and bugs. If you look around here, it's definitely Tasmanian devil. And in the midst of all of this, I've got a house remodeling project I'm doing as well. Plus, we're just wrapping up the homestead. We've got to start getting firewood soon. I've been cutting small wood to burn in the burner in the house, but we're going to be firing up the big outdoor burner here in the next few weeks. So we need to get a high holy amount of firewood ahead. Life is just crazy, crazy, crazy. But you know what? There's a few things I need to shake off my plate, and I hope to have that done by the end of the year. And then I'm going to be going some new directions. So watch for that. There's going to be some real exciting stuff coming, not just with my car shop, but with life in general. And I'll share some of that with you guys. All right, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for joining me here for it wasn't the day in the shop. It was a couple hours this afternoon. I had to make that car safe. That's my main transportation right now. I'm using it for service calls for my business because both Mini Coopers are down, as I mentioned. There's just a lot of stuff that I'm juggling right now. And I put, last Friday, I think I put 130 miles on that car doing service calls. I was down in Flint with it the other day, so that's another 80 miles. Driving it to my office, 30 miles each direction. Plus I'm going to town with it, which is close to here. So that's another 15, 20 miles almost every day. I'll be driving that when the weather's nice. When it's not, we'll be driving Wanda when the weather's crap. But so that's coming next. I've got to do some winterization stuff on Wanda, and I've got to get some heat in that truck. Then fabrication season is here. We are going to be back on the Stitches Challenger, and we're going to be diving into the Forsyth Duster and trying to get that car structurally back together so that as Stitches comes off the Challenger, we can get the Duster on the rotisserie. So that is also coming, but practical realities of life take precedent over toys. Scoops is a toy, yes, but right now it's also an essential transportation. Wanda is essential transportation. The other vehicles all need much bigger work, and I don't have the time or the resources to do them right now. So that's it. We'll catch you on the next one.